Alrighty, how's everybody doing? Welcome. If you're watching this thing live, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. You're watching the replay. Give me a hashtag replay in the chat. Let's go ahead and make sure I can see the chat. So the question is crypto bleeding? Why is it bleeding? Well, the answer is it's not bleeding, and we are going to get into some price predictions. We are going to get into some of the charts. Do yourself a favor. Invite a friend on here, send them the link, and smash that like button down below if you are going to make some money in this current bull market in your portfolio and maybe even trading. So the question, the commonality right now, based on this current chart, Bitcoin at 65,000, is why is it dropping? And if that's something that you're asking yourself, you need to get educated and you need to understand that it's a market. And in the market, there are people. And if there's people, there are emotions. And if there's emotions, then people buy and sell things. So don't ask the question, why is it dropping? Okay, let's ask some better questions on this YouTube. Feel free to let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from and send this out to a friend that might need some reminders, and we're going to look at some price predictions here. So let's just take a trip memory lane real quick as you guys are letting me know where you're tuning in from if you're watching the replay. Let's go to June, right? June of 2020. Okay, let's not forget 4 years ago, okay, this week, Bitcoin was under $10,000. Let's not forget that Ethereum was at $200. Let's not forget Ripple was at 20 cents. And let's also not forget that I don't even think Solana was created 4 years ago. Okay. Let's not forget these things. Let's not forget that synthetics went from $1 to $50. So Mississippi, I see you. New Zealand, I see you. Belgium, I see you. Tampa, I see you. What's good, Jessica? Good to see you guys in the chat. So let's not forget these things, right? Chainlink was at 4. It went to like $40 4 years ago. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you can be patient and give some things some time. We look at the current market today, there's not a crash happening, but there's going to be these opportunistic moves in a market that allow you, Andy and Junior and Christoph, to get some better entries. So you have to always ask yourself these questions, you know, when you're in any market, whether it's real estate, if you're a buyer, right? If you're a buyer, you always need to know, where are we currently at? Okay. Some people right now, they'll say real estate's good. Some people will say real estate's bad. I'm not gonna talk about real estate on this YouTube live. Okay. But where are we currently at in crypto? Well, Bitcoin's at 65,000. Now, when this market came down and flushed these lows a few months ago in May, you know, people were saying here that we were just going to just continue down. And if you bought this dip, you had a very nice, a very nice push back up. Now, if you're playing, okay, off these questions, so let's go back to these questions real quick. Where are we currently at? And then how are you playing? Are you playing long-term investing? Let's just talk about investing for a second. Or are you playing short-term, which means you're trying to get in and out of trades or in and out of positions? Let me know in the chat. Are you playing the long-term game or the short-term game? Okay. And I would invite a friend on here. They might need to hear this, whether they're in crypto or not. People keep saying, is it too late? Is it too late to learn? Is it too late to get educated? The answer is no. The answer is no. Okay. I'm going to show you the stock chart in a second. And you go back and you just zoom out and it looks the same as the S&P. It looks the same as gold. It's just people are so fixated with the price that they don't understand the chart or they don't understand the moves and the emotions and the amount of money that will come into the market. Okay. And I'm actually going to even show you guys exactly what I bought on this current dip in the market. So make sure you guys stick to the end and I'll go through that. So a lot of you are saying this long-term investing. Now in crypto or in any portfolio that you're building, you know, there's something that we call allocation, right? Some people in real estate, they like to do multifamily. Some people like to do buy, fix and flip. Some people like to just buy and hold, right? Or just rent it out to one tenant at a time. There's always an allocation strategy. Now in crypto, the strategy that's worked since 2009 is you buy the dip and you don't trip. Should I start rapping? Probably not, right? You buy the dip, okay? Now for Bitcoin, what's up, Tanner? Charmaine, good to see you. Dario, good to see you. We're at 65.1. I'm playing the long-term game. Now, here's the thing, is when Bitcoin makes a move down, somebody tell me what happens to what we call altcoins or other coins. I'm gonna really teach here today. I really want some of you guys to understand this. So what happens here? It's if Bitcoin drops 5-10%, these altcoins or other coins, they have a more dramatic drop. So if Bitcoin drops 5-10%, you're going to see altcoins sometimes drop 10 to 30%. And I'm going to show you at the end of this live in the next couple of minutes the 3 cryptos that I actually bought here today, and you can do your own research on them. Okay. So they kind of follow. Now, I think one day, and I've been saying this for years, I think one day, just like the stock market, for example, like in stocks, let's say the overall stock market is going up. We call it NASDAQ, S&P, all those different markets. It doesn't necessarily mean that other stocks can't go up as well. Okay, put it to if that makes sense. So I think one day, not yet because of money in the market. Right now, Bitcoin only has $1.2 trillion. Okay. There's 2.4 trillion in all of crypto. And if we look at this website right here, we can go to 8marketcap.com. Everybody, please understand that one company, actually 4 companies, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, and Google, 4 individual companies are all bigger than all of crypto, 15,000 coins, including Bitcoin and ETH. Do y'all understand, like, there's early, and then there's like early. Now, we're not early anymore. I'll just tell you straight up, okay? We're not there. You missed that. You missed it if you missed it. But you're still early enough to milk and to make some money in this market, I believe. There's a risk involved with everything that I'm talking about, and I'm not your financial advisor. Just go get a financial advisor, but make sure your financial advisor makes some damn money and they actually can help people. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. So you see NVIDIA, right? I'm not even using gold as an example, but companies, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, and Google are all bigger than all of crypto, 15,000 different coins, an entire ecosystem that still has time. So my point in that is I believe we'll get to a point one day where Bitcoin can drop 5, 10, 20%, and altcoins or the bigger altcoins, ETH, Solana, the Ripple, they're doing their own thing, right? Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. They're doing their own thing. Now, I'm not going to go into like all these different charts of like the dollar, and I was going to go into some stock charts, but I really just want to talk crypto for the next couple of minutes, if that's okay. I do want to answer some questions in here. Some of you guys are texting me right now. Please get on the live. Okay, I'm actually in a position on INJ, and I'll show you guys some of the cryptos that I actually just got here today on this dip. So market drops, what do we do? Okay, the first thing that I would recommend you to do is on TradingView's free website here is to create a watch list. Okay, create a watch list of coins and see what is not performing, right? See what is actually down the worst. So like if I open up this chart here on Neon, here's an example, okay? I've been watching Neon. I do not have Neon in my portfolio right now. I do not have it in my portfolio, but I've been watching this. Why have I been watching this? Well, first off, it's a very, very interesting project. It's built on Solana. It helps move money from ETH to Solana and Solana to ETH. So it's an EVM, not to get all technical on the new people here. And I've been looking for a potential opportunity. Now, here's what you have to understand is October of last year to the peak right here, the market went up 4,800%. Can somebody tell me in the chat if that is sustainable? Yes or no? The answer is no. Okay, great. So guess what? Now the market is dropping. Okay, we're getting about an 85% retracement here. And when I say that this coin was at 12 cents, it went to $4. Okay, that's just not sustainable, right? So now the market's dropping. I'm still not even sold on a potential entry on this, but guess what? It's getting closer to potentially where I may want to look for an entry. Doesn't mean I will. Doesn't mean that I'm telling you to buy this. Absolutely not. But the purpose of that is you need to have a watch list. Okay, here's another one right here on Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter was not one of the coins that I bought today. But let me give you this example. Jupiter, once again, you can see how it launched at like down there. It ran up to $2 on KuCoin. But really from this low, we had about a 3x in price. What happens when Bitcoin makes a move down? What did we just talk about? Bitcoin makes a move down. This is Bitcoin. What do the altcoins kind of do? They fall a little bit faster. So just from this previous high, this is down 45%. Bitcoin's not down 45% in the past couple of weeks, in the past month, but the altcoins are. The coins that have smaller market caps get affected more because people get scared and fear and blah, blah, blah. So Jupiter under $1 billion market cap, and I'm not going into all the project and stuff. So for Jupiter, for example, I am looking for a potential position on this. So I don't have a position yet, and it would probably be closer to the 60 cents. But I would wait, and I would understand the skill set of waiting and being patient and then having some confirmations. And that's what I teach all my students and all the people I consult with and advise for all that stuff. We're not going into like the technicals there. Okay, now I'm going to answer some of your questions in the chat. Tanner said I grabbed some Alluvium and File today. Couldn't resist. Yeah, I'll talk about File here publicly. I did it on another YouTube. You know, I like this level. You know, I actually started a DCA. We caught a nice push up. And now we're kind of back in this box. Like, I love this level here, $4 to $6. And here's the thing. If you say, okay, I'm in a DCA $4 to $6, and price goes down under, let's say, $3, you have a decision to make. You can either just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to stop. I'm happy with my DCA. Even if the market drops another 50%, guess what? That's the game in crypto. It's not a casino, but it's extremely volatile. And if you buy it at $4 or $6, are you willing to hold the project through another 50% drop? And if you're not, then you're part of like the problem and you're part of liquidity in the market because you just sell and then you sell to people that are willing to buy it from you. And then guess what? Those people are willing to hold this thing for the next 5 years. And when Filecoin at $25 and you paper-handed it, paper-handed means you like sold it because you got scared, right? Let me know in the chat if you've ever sold a crypto because you saw it dropping. I think like days like today, everything's down on my watch list 6 to 10%, 15%, right? You automatically have an edge or an advantage, or let's say the probability of you accumulating crypto today versus, let's say, 2 weeks ago when the market was going up and it was up 5, 10, 15, 20%. So like the probability, for example, of tomorrow being better than today in the market, you already have that probability in your favor now because you're buying when the market's going down. Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. I know your emotions want you to buy when it's going up, and that's the problem. You bought Filecoin when it broke this structure. I bought Filecoin now that it's breaking and coming back into our zone. Now, we've initially called this out. All my students caught Filecoin super in this super early at $3-4. We ran up to 12, and now we're back at $4. Okay. So can you control your emotions to not get so euphoric and panic? I'll kind of put it like this. Let me just pull up a random coin here, a random chart, a random thing here. So you have a euphoric move, and then you have let's just call it a panic move. So, like, what's helped me a lot is to realize that if I'm headed toward euphoric, my goal is to scale out on the way up. Now, let's ask you a question. Do you think Bitcoin has had a euphoric move so far? Yes or no in the chat. Okay. Do you think Bitcoin has had a euphoric move recently? Now, we know that there was a very large panic when Bitcoin went to 4,000. There was a big panic when it went to 15,000, right? There was a big panic even recently when it went to 59,000. But you see how like the numbers are kind of going up and the panic is the same. It's called emotions. Welcome to investing. Welcome to trading. Welcome to trying to multiply your money. And if you just like kind of wait, eventually, guess what? I think 10 years from now, there will be a panic move when Bitcoin will go back to $100,000. One day, Bitcoin's at 2, 3, 400K, and it goes back to 100. Talk about people being scared, right? It's the same exact thing. So let's kind of dial back into this euphoric move. Recently, have we seen a euphoric move on Bitcoin? Now, that could be subjective, because if you bought it at 15, is that a euphoric move? But I'm talking like media. I'm talking Google searches. I'm talking Uber drivers. Everybody's buying Bitcoin again. I don't think we've seen that yet. But when we do, here's what I would recommend you do. Scale out. Just dollar cost average out, just like your dollar cost averaged in. So just like you were buying on the way down, buying, and then the market goes crazy, I would have the same approach on the way out. Now, I'm not going to tell you the numbers and the price points on here today, but that's what I would do. Okay. Now, that's for Bitcoin. Now, let's say we are like right here on this euphoric move. I think we're like right here. I still think we'll see like a big push. And if that's for Bitcoin, where are we for? And we'll go to this chart and I'll show it to you in a second. But where are we for altcoins? Have altcoins had a euphoric move? And really, like, the euphoria in like crypto takes place when euphoria in altcoins happens. Okay. Because with altcoins, it's like everything's just popping like popcorn. Solana's going from 100 to 500. It doesn't even make any sense. You have random layer one projects doing 2 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion in market cap. I mean, AI's popping. Gaming might have a nice comeback. You have all these different categories just exploding. Everybody's making money. That obviously can happen in Bitcoin, of course. But has that happened yet with altcoins? And I think for altcoins, we're actually like here. And there's like a lot more to go. And one of the charts that I look at, and I've made videos on this on my YouTube, is this total 3. This is all of the money in altcoins. And wow, look at this. Isn't this playing out pretty nicely here? All of the money excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, we actually broke this level of liquidity. We came back into this box. Go on my channel. We have tons of videos looking at this. And, we had a very, very nice, strong level down there that we were actually able to catch some of the bottoms on some of these altcoins back in the day, middle of last year. And now we're actually seeing a huge spike in volume. Market's going down. I actually like this. While other people are getting scared, what is smart money doing? What are wealthy people doing in times of fear? They're looking for assets to accumulate. They're looking for your crypto. President of El Salvador, okay, he is looking to create a Bitcoin bank. Let me pull this article up for you. And what he wants to do is it's going to be a private bank that anybody in the world will be able to, I believe, participate in. Let me show you this article. Just came out a couple days ago. And guess what? He is going to want, let me pull this over here. Okay, El Salvador builds Bitcoin bank to bolster foreign investment. So if you want to invest in El Salvador, you'll be able to bank with them. And they're going to be offering different private services. Now, what would be some of those services that if I was a Bitcoin bank that I would offer? Oh, yeah, lending, borrowing against your crypto. Oh, yeah, staking. Hey, give us your Bitcoin, and for every, let's say for every Bitcoin you give us, just easy math, we're going to give you 15% a year. And you're like, oh my God, 15% a year. El Salvador has hundreds of Bitcoin, no, thousands of Bitcoins now. So they can kind of basically like kind of guarantee you that your Bitcoin will be safe, right? You'll get the 15%. And then what are they going to do as a Bitcoin bank? Or what are they going to do as a bank? They're going to go out there and they're going to make more money with your money. They're going to go build the country up. They're going to go invest in real estate. And I can tell you, now I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to participate in this, but guess what? That's the future. In America as well, and in Europe as well, and in Australia as well, where our banks are going to call us, email us, text us eventually and say, hey, you have some Bitcoin? Hey, let us hold it for 6 months. And you know what? We'll give you a crazy return, like 5, 10, 15%. Guaranteed. They'll make it sound real nice. They'll give you some benefits, maybe even a tax advantage. Pay attention to regulation and legislation over the next couple of years. If I was the US government, we're going to see who wins in November. But if I was the US government, I would have been collecting crypto for a long time. Our country might have been out of debt in America. But the point is that if the country were to start accepting, let's say, Solana or Ethereum, and these 3 or 4x over the next 10 years, I'm talking conservatively, 3, 4x in the next decade, and they raise 20, 30 billion, 50 billion in taxpayers' money, really think about like, now hopefully they just don't sell it on us, right? So that's another conversation there. But I think that's where we're headed. I think this is where the world is headed. And we've been saying this now for 7.5, almost 8 years. So it's not about being right. It's about betting on something and following through with it. Right? Let me know in the chat if you've ever bet on something and it panned out. Sometimes we bet on things and it didn't pan out, right? But as long as you're betting on something with the risk to reward where it makes sense, that's what it's about. So, for example, on this chart here, I like this level for altcoins to potentially have a continuation. Now, that does not mean you just start going and buying random altcoins. And I'm gonna give you a couple coins that I was actually able to dollar cost average in here today. But I want to answer some questions. Somebody asked, what do I think about Caspa? So I'm gonna answer some questions and I'll give you guys 3 cryptos that I actually looked to add to my portfolio here today, if that sounds good. So Caspa, once again, I have no position in Caspa, being completely transparent and honest with everybody. I would really love to see Caspa closer towards this 10 to 12 cent level. Yeah, I would really love to see Caspa down here. Now, here's kind of the thing. It's like you had price, and this kind of happened to Bitcoin. Like you have this high, price kind of pokes right above the high, and then it falls, right? Tell me this chart, and I know this is like, this is Caspa on the left, and I'm going to look at Bitcoin here on the right. I blanked out for a second because I was looking at that ETH chart. But kind of like look back over here, like you kind of see how like the all-time high, and then the market dropped, and then it came right above, and then it dropped. So like Bitcoin's all-time high was right here. Market poked its head right above it at the end of 2021, and then it had a fall. Okay. Everybody kind of see that? Let me know in the chat if you see that. This was CASP on the left. This is Bitcoin back in the day. So a lot of times that takes place with projects. And that's okay. Because now, guess what? You guys know somebody bought this coin, Caspa, at 19 cents, and then they're down right now 26%. Okay. And this is the transfer of wealth. This is the decision they have to make to sell it low or to just be patient, dollar cost average, or just hold the 19-cent entry if they think the asset is going to go higher in price. I mean, I don't understand sometimes, like I'm not too big into stocks. I do have a stock portfolio. I do stock options as well. But like, for example, like let me just pick a random stock here, like Nike. Like how many of us have parents, right, that had money or could have bought, okay, could have bought Nike stock in 2008, 2009, okay? How many people's parents, or maybe you, could have bought, like you had the ability to, you had more than $11 or $17, or if maybe you wore Nike shoes, right? Let me know in the chat. 2008, 2009, sheesh, we could even say 2015, right? Nike's trading at $66. Delete that blue line. It drops down to $48. 2016, 2017. Could have bought 1 share, 2 shares, 5 shares, maybe a little bit more. And let's just go from this level. I mean, Nike went up 250% in 4 years. This is just a random stock that I chose on my watch list. But think about the people that bought it right here at 68. They got scared because it went down 26%, and then it went up 200-300%. That is the emotional game that's playing over and over and over again. Now, could we all agree, this is a stock, but could we all agree that if you just bought and held through time, unless you bought in 2020, what is that? Unless you bought in 2021, but if you bought anywhere here for like 30 years, your money would have been growing. And that's the reason that some people don't like crypto or they don't understand crypto, because when people sometimes hear the word crypto, what's like one of the words that come to them? Fast. And that's just really not true. Can you make money? Of course. Can you lose money? Of course. Can you make money fast? Yeah, but you could also lose money fast. But let's zoom out and let's start bringing, here's my message over the next couple of years. Let's bring some of that Wall Street, some of that stock mentality. I don't want slow gains, but the mentality of being patient and building wealth long term. Let's bring that into crypto. Who's okay with that? Who's okay with building wealth in 4, 8, 12, 16, 20-year periods of time? I mean, what's the substitution of not learning these things? Well, it's working for somebody else for a long time. Okay. And at 18 years old, at 11 years ago, I'm 29 right now. 11 years ago, I read a book, right? And it taught me that I needed to get to the right side. And I'm not here to like go too deep into this. I'm not going to do that. But here's the purpose is if you don't get to like this side, the truth is this side on the left, you have no time freedom. The truth is the side of the left, everything is based on what you do. And I did an Instagram live on this the other day. And here's what I was saying, or actually yesterday, I was saying you don't buy things with money. What do you mean, Mike? You buy things with time. I need to put my light on real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. Now, let me know in the chat, okay, if you have a job, how much money you make per hour. let's get into it. How much money do you make per hour? Okay. Now, let's just say you make, I'm going to say $50 an hour. You have a good paying job, right? 50 US dollars an hour. That would be considered pretty good. Yeah. Now, pretty good is a comparison and is a perception because $50 an hour. Whatever, but let's just use it. $50 USD per hour. Yeah. Now, we're not going to get into like taxes and financial planning and all that stuff here. But let's say you work for $50 an hour. And let's say you go on a vacation that cost you $1,000. Okay. Let's use a vacation as an example. Now, a vacation, $1,000, that's kind of like average. You, maybe one or two people in your family. Let's say $1,000. So 1,000 divided by 50. That vacation did not cost you $1,000, everybody. It cost you 20 hours of your life. Let's say you bought a jacket, and the jacket was a North Face jacket, and it cost $100. Guess what? That was 2 hours of your life. Let's say you went to dinner. Oh, here we go. And let's say the bill, you and your wife or you and your husband or whatever, was 100 US dollars. That cost you another 2 hours of your life. And when you start thinking like this, some of y'all don't want to hear this and you're leaving. That's fine. Leave. It's not for you. I don't need you to like me. I'm okay. I like me. That's what Bob Proctor taught me. If you make 50 an hour, and most people don't even make that, but I'm using that as an easy example, that dinner, that food costed you 2 hours of your life. Now, am I saying not to eat dinner? Absolutely not. Am I saying not to buy the thing that you need? Absolutely not. But it's a mindset of understanding, how do I grow money? How do I multiply money? How do I park some money in some different places that I have to get educated on? My goal of this video is not to just educate you on all these different things at one time. But it's a mindset that the wealthy people understand, and that's why the wealthy people don't have to do shit and they make money. Event's going to cost me 50 hours. Well, yeah, it is. But it doesn't have to over and over and over again, right? So I hope this has helped you. I want to give you those 3 cryptos that I promised you on this video, on this call. If there's any other questions, I'll answer them. What cryptos have you been accumulating? Anthony P just asked. Yeah, so today I'll show you real quick. Well, I'm not going to show you, but I'll just kind of tell you. We actually added to first position was on Helium. I like Helium. Okay, I'm not going to go into like the details of all the projects, but Helium is now on the Solana network. This is one of those DPIN projects, communication projects. Helium at $3. We were able to catch that potential zone down there at around $3 on that wick, like maybe at 315, something like that, a couple hours ago. So Helium is number 1. Why do you like? Well, I'll just give you some numbers. Okay, so max supply, very nice. We have nice trading volume. Market cap is 500 million. Well, Mike, if price were to get back to the previous all-time high in market cap, what would be the price? So you come to CoinGecko, you click on market cap. Here's what I would do. I would literally do the simple math. Right now, we are at 500 million in market cap. The all-time high was 5 billion. That's a 10x. What's 10 times 3? $30. There you go. If $5 billion came back into Helium with the current tokenomics, the current numbers, and how many people don't understand tokenomics? I'm going to give you something here. It's a free book that I put together. It's called DeFiEbook.com. Go to www.defiebook.com. Read this. It's 11 pages. I mean, a little kid can, a 7-year-old kid can read this. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can just probably click on it there. Okay. And that's my gift for you for today. Other than me telling you these 3 other cryptos. Why can't I pin this? Anyways, I'm trying to pin the comment, but it's not letting me. Okay. So Helium number 1. And I do think now that they've moved over to Solana, they'll be working with the Solana mobile team, which is going to the new Solana phone that will come out next year. I could see Helium getting some traction once again. I like this chart, and I did see, okay, here's really what I see. I see huge spikes in volume, but the market, like green volume, why is the market going down? You'll see later. Volume's going down, huge spike there. The biggest spike in volume ever was not when it was at 30 bucks. It was at when it was at $9. Now the market has gone under. Right now the market's like down here compared to that large volume. So I would love to see something like that for helium. Okay, helium is number one. Second project, I already kind of mentioned it before, was Filecoin. I like Filecoin at this $4 to $6 level. Once again, biggest spike in volume on Filecoin was recently when it was at $10, not when it was at over $200 in price. Filecoin is number two. Hopefully this is helping. Some people are getting off a little bit earlier here. I like Jupiter Ezekiel, but definitely price can fall lower. So you look at Filecoin's total market cap. At one point, it had about 12. This is like decentralized storage. I think Filecoin has its own narrative here in the next couple of years. And I like these levels. You know, all my students, they know the exact levels where we're looking to exit, but I like this $4 to $5, $4 to $6 level for accumulation. And then last but not least, the last one that I accumulated here today was, some people are not going to like them. Some people are going to love this one. It's kind of like a in the middle ICP. Caught it under $8. It actually has had a bounce from it. And very similar. Huge spike in volume going into 2024, like ICP in this level. So we'll see if we can hold. We caught that wick at around 790 or something. And yeah, those were the three. So hopefully, guys, this has been helpful. Smash that subscribe button if you got some value from today's YouTube live. It costs you nothing. And if you can hit that like button as well, I appreciate you. I go live from time to time here. Definitely read DeFi ebook if you haven't. The link is in the chat. And I would definitely, if you're new, I'm going to pin that message right there. If you're new to trading in crypto, good place to start. And then you can reach out to me via Instagram at DeFi Mike Sotero. So any last questions? Any last questions? I believe you can put ICP now on your ledger. So I think it's one of the updates on Ledger. I believe you should be able to move that there. Yep, you can. Any last questions? Feel free to drop it in the chat. Let's see what Bitcoin does here. 65.3. I actually have a swing position here. Very, very tight risk on Injective at about 1950. So I'm looking for that thing to swing back to the upside. I'll show you guys this chart. I'm looking for this move to 24 on INJ. I'm already in this position, so I would not take this or do anything like that. This is just what I'm watching here, seeing now that we're kind of breaking out of this little push down. Have you ever looked at Amino token, walk to earn? There's a lot of projects like that. I haven't. Amino token, no. I know there's one on Solana with the foot. Forgot, it's pretty big one as well. I'm just not sure how those tokenomics will work. I'll look at Amino token though for you. Step to earn, I think is the one on Solana. I'm guessing this is it. Yeah, this is probably it. And here's the issue with this is that there's so much tokens, there's no volume, and it's 6 million market cap. So could it be a big project one day? Sure, but a lot more risk. And I'm really avoiding low cap projects under 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. And it's a very small percentage of my portfolio because once again, you buy a low cap project, Bitcoin goes back to 60. This level is in play. So don't get too excited here that we're going to bounce. Like this level is easily in play, 58 to 62. We can easily get back down here before continuing. And if that happens, some of those low cap projects will get destroyed. Well, they're going to go through a season, and it's not really, well, it depends. The last thing I'll kind of teach you, this is a little bit more advanced, but a lot of cryptos, they raise money. So listen to this. They raise money in Bitcoin or ETH. Sometimes dollars, of course, but sometimes projects raise money in Bitcoin or ETH. And then here's what happens is now their like piggy bank, because they never go into stable coins, is now in Bitcoin and ETH. And if Bitcoin and ETH start to slow down, guess what all these companies, guess what all these cryptos have? Just like what a normal company has. They have the E word. They have expenses. And guess what? And I'm not saying all projects or that project has this, but in 2017, this happened to thousands of cryptocurrency that no longer exist. They raised money. So they raised $1 million, 500K, $1 million, 20 million, 30, whatever, in Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was at 10,000, let's say. Bitcoin goes to 4. The 10 million they raised is now worth 4, 5, 6 million. Guess what? They still have expenses. They still have to pay all these different people, the devs, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And that is not cheap. Okay. I work with devs on the back end of certain things. I know people that are devs in different blockchains. I've met them at these events. It's not cheap. And guess what happens? When Bitcoin does something like this, consolidates for months, they still have to pay their employees every single month. They still have to do marketing and all these different things. And then guess what? They get clapped. So that's a little bit more advanced, but hopefully that made sense to everybody. Hope y'all have a great day. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll be back once again, probably in the next couple of days here. Let's see what the market does. How do I find good stable coins on each network? Go to crypto, CoinGecko, go to categories, go into stable coins. But, the biggest one is obviously Tether. The biggest one on Ethereum is USDC. And then I like DAI. Personally, be very careful with stable coins because they're volatile. I'm sure here we can find some stable coins like this stable coin right here should be at $1. It's at 96 cents. That's not good. RIP. This one is at 82 cents. So if you had $1 million in the stable coin, USDX, well, guess what? You woke up one day and you just lost $280,000. Okay. Be very careful. There's a risk involved with everything, of course. And I would definitely stick with the top 3. And that's pretty much the main one is probably USDC when it comes to protection and backing and all that stuff. So guys, have a great rest of your day. See y'all soon.